So, welcome everybody. I'm Dabo from Germany. I just came home from gaming paradise, and without too much sleep, I started casting the 99 Damage League already, and I thought it was a good idea to bring Stich from HLTV along with me. He was actually co-casting the game before, and we figured, why not give it a shot and try an interview about my experience over there in Slovenia, in Portorož, or Portorož, or there is a Z with a small roof on top of it. I don't know how it's pronounced, but yeah. Welcome, Stich. Introduce yourself to the viewers.
Okay, so I'm Stich from hltv.org. I write a lot of articles, but I also was at ESWC, where I actually met Daniel Debu. I was the interviewer there. It was my first time interviewing people ever. It went okay. I was a little nervous, but overall, people gave me good feedback and stuff. And yeah, I also do some other writing in esports for PC Gamer and some other things just as an aside. So I stay busy. I like to stay busy in esports. And yeah, that's it. Just working on upping my interview game. Can't pass up this opportunity.
I mean, you definitely have the talent to do that. You showed it on ESWC already. So, yeah. I can kind of start off on my own for now, just introducing how I got there in the first place, which was
you should give the backstory.
Indeed. So, at first, I knew that Toby1 was hired. I contacted the production crew that I know for 2 years already. So it was organized by ex-EFRAG people, gaming.rs. Big shout out to Petzer, who did so much work for me, for Toby, and for the whole tournament. He really tried his very best. So I contacted them, asked, I knew that it was a kind of a more relaxed environment to cast in, so I figured it was a good chance for me to get some exposure and to pick up the ropes. It would have been my second LAN that I casted, so I definitely need some more experience. Also, get myself out of my own comfort zone and try myself in different environments. So I asked them, they said no, we have casters already and stuff like that. And then something else turned up, so they couldn't get the casters that they initially tried to get. And I asked again and again and again. That's what I do. And in the end, they said, oh yeah, right. It was 3 days before the event started. Yeah, we can definitely use you. Just give me your name, and they booked the flight straight away. So that was that was fortunate, and it was also just telling me again that it pays off to nag people and to ask them again and again. So
yeah, for sure.
I didn't even realize that was at Saturday that I leave. I got the ticket at Wednesday. So I still had a few casts to come up, and I had a few things to sort out, but everything went fine. The flight was okay. Everything was cool. I arrived at 2 a.m. in the morning or something. They picked me up from Trieste Airport and drove me to the venue to take a look at the stage and stuff. Everything looked very nice at that point. We had a sound check in the night, just so we didn't have to do it in the morning. So they were not the people that say, no, we don't have to do it right now, we can do it later or something. They asked me if I was up for it. I said, yeah, definitely. I can sleep a little longer. There is less to do in the morning and less stress. And we know that everything is worked out already. So we did the sound check. It took a few hours. Then we organized a few other things. I just got to know the crew. And we went to bed. So I had a different room, and the room wasn't perfect. It was in the kind of the same house that the first edition was in. And after that, the first night, Toby1 and I were talking about the rooms and how it wasn't really good that we were so far away from the players, because the players stayed in those apartments. We had a room in a kind of a hotel, and we got a new hotel room, so they changed this for us. They organized that we stayed with Mekelele and his girlfriend in one big apartment, I slept on the couch, but that was all right for me. The others had their own separate rooms. We had 2 bathrooms. It was kind of high class for me. And everything went fine until to the point when we were supposed to be at the venue, and then everything with the PCs went wrong.
So that's like the situation. So what you're saying is basically it seemed okay. You just had a sort of not what you expected in terms of the room, but overall you still weren't suspicious. Because I feel like some people are talking about it in a way that there were suspicions already, especially a post I saw from Slovenians in the Slovenian scene that there were
Yeah,
suspicions ahead of time from them. But you would say that you didn't really feel such suspicions.
not personally. No, the hotel room was not suspicious. It was a little low class, you know. It was a very cool. I mean, it was up the hill on top of the bay. So
Okay.
Toby1 tweeted a few pictures of the view that we had, and it was freaking amazing. But the bed was good as well. But the bathroom, it's just minor things that you, if you're used to good hotel rooms, you definitely care about them. But I am more of a backpacker kind of guy, so I didn't care too much about it. It didn't make me suspicious at first, but then people told me about their own flight experience and how there was a delay with their pickups and stuff like that. It was kind of sounding weird already. But
Like
yeah.
what for example, you don't have to name names, but was it just they had to wait really long? I saw something about BP
Yes.
having to wait forever.
Yes, that was one of the occasions. Other teams had to wait too.
Mm,
So
yeah.
that is kind of unfortunate for the teams that they have to wait that long to get picked up. You expect as a player, you are brought there to perform, and you're expected to turn up in time as well. So you expect everyone else to be in time as well. And that wasn't always the case. I have to say there were a few communication issues on the end of the organizers, and also it was split up. So we had one production crew that was gaming.rs, and we had the tournament organizer, like the host. He organized the venue, he organized the PC.
The way I well yeah, okay, we can kind of discuss him. I mean, as much as you feel comfortable discussing it. But
Yeah.
when I just want to think about that first day. So what was it like when you heard, and was it true? Because a lot of this, we can also talk about that. There does seem to be some myth thrown into the whole thing, but especially relating to a certain picture of food. But
Ah, that food picture.
yeah,
Oh.
but was it true that a driver just stole all the computers?
As far as I know, um, that is not entirely the story.
Uh-huh.
The thing was, I talked to the drivers that drove the screens to the venue. They came from Belgium as well. They're good friends with the host. So the host was Sasha, and he was he was phoning a lot. I mean, he was non-stop trying to get things on the way, and he was organizing stuff. And the bad thing about the whole situation was the way that Sasha handled the stress. There was, I mean, the card house, the house of cards. Yeah, the card house. I'm so German. The house of cards was starting to shake. It was about to fall down, and the players approached him and they asked, "What is up with the PCs? We were told they will arrive in 2 hours. We can go live at 16 CEST." Was the first time that I heard. I mean, the very first time was 11. Then it was 12. Then it was 16. Because they said they have to drive 2 more hours and then they have to set up everything. So I thought, okay, I'm just caster. I will just sit here and wait and socialize a little bit, talk to Toby1. Obviously, a big honor for me to be at the same desk, shake his hand, breathe the same air.
Oh, Toby-wan senpai. Is that how you felt? Were you just completely overwhelmed?
No, I mean, the first event that I've been to, ESL One Cologne 2014, that was the event when I got a hard skin about that, you know.
Yeah.
First I was looking up to the players a lot. I was a little bit shy. Yes, I was shy. That is something that rarely happens.
Yeah,
But then I
seriously.
realized, yeah, you experience it yourself.
Yeah, I experienced the outgoing version of you, not the shy version. I feel like I would be what's it called, terrified if I saw the shy version.
Ah, okay. It wasn't too shy, but it wasn't as outgoing as I usually
Yeah.
would be. So I realized they are all human beings, and they are all around the same age as you are, or they are even younger than you are. So
Oh yeah,
they,
yeah.
yeah, they behave like human beings as well. You experience it yourself in ESWC. Look at Freakazoid, for example. He's the perfect example of a guy that also reflects how he behaves off the camera. He
Yeah,
is just a natural guy.
very much so. I mean, not all of them are like that, but yeah. And
Yeah.
not since we're getting off track, as is very common with you and I. Speaking of behaving like human beings, was your contact, say, around, let's say around 16 CEST, so
Yeah.
4 p.m. Was your contact only with the gaming.rs guys, or was the what's his name, Sasha? Was the organizer
Sasha,
still,
yeah.
or was he still around, kind of on the phone at the time?
Yeah, he was running back and forth, and as I said, trying to get things on track. We had contact to gaming.rs. They had contact to Sasha. Sasha also talked to us. You know, he was a very humble person, in my opinion. But when you approach him with a problem, like for example, that 16 CST situation was the way that Toby and I realized there are no PCs yet, but we are supposed to go online in 15 minutes. There is another problem, I think. So we approached him and asked, yeah, where are the PCs? And usually he tried to smile and try to make a happy impression to you. And that threw a lot of people off. I think that was actually one of the main problems. If he didn't seem to be concerned, while you were still able to tell that there was something going on behind, you know, you could see that there was something in his mind just nagging and just processing stuff. But he came up to you and he smiled and he talked about different stuff. And, you know, as a manager, as a team manager, you're furious because your players are warming up or not even warming up because there are no PCs. And you ask the organizer what is happening, and he's not concerned too much about it. He's like, yeah, don't worry, they will arrive in 2 hours. And then he gives you a smile.
Yeah, I don't think people who are already on edge would take that information the right way. So when did the PCs arrive? And they arrived without graphics cards, right?
Yeah, the PCs arrived. We didn't even realize that the PCs arrived. But the thing was that one of the guys that was supposed to get the PCs to the venue didn't show up for Sasha. So it was a little bit, you know, it was last time organizing those PCs. It was very close to the start of the tournament in the first place. So there was a slight mistake on his part. But he got somebody that was supposed to bring him PCs, and he just said no. So that was not in his power.
How does that conversation go on the phone? I need you to bring in those PCs. No. Okay.
No, I think it was more like everything was fine, and then 1 hour before he was supposed to leave with the PCs to the venue, he said, I can't make it. And then you're standing there.
Jesus
You need
Christ,
to,
man.
yeah, you need to get 10 PCs in a matter of hours. Not next day or something, but in a matter of hours. So Sasha was probably on tilt already when he got that news. And then people kept walking up to him and asking him stuff, which is the thing that is right to do. As a team manager, you have to take care of that. And they smelled something going south. You know, Taz, Cuban, Starrix, They all know the ropes. They have been to so many different events. They know when there's something fishy, they will be on the edge already. They will be on their toes. And
So
that's,
you're saying these guys were on their toes visibly?
well, I think they weren't even there because the first match, what was the first match? I even have to look that up. I don't remember anymore. Nope.
I have to look it up as well. Let's see, Gaming Paradise results. Looks like first match was King Gwyn Efrag.
Yeah, so Kingwin was kind of still relaxed. Efrag wasn't too agitated either. But whenever Starix or anyone else from the more experienced teams, for example, also the manager of Mousesports, showed up and tried to check in. You know, they were supposed to play at 2, so they showed up and checked in. And then they realized the first match isn't even underway yet. There is something really wrong.
Yeah.
And I think the flow of information wasn't perfect. If Sasha had told us everything that happened, we would have at least be able to understand it in a way. Even if it was hard to really understand why he organized the things as close to the tournament as he did, at least it was like, okay, he had everything organized and then somebody broke away. So then it was like, yeah, you could have at least argued it's not entirely his fault.
And so the only one game was played that day at 11:30
Yes.
European time. Because then the next game was 9 a.m. In the morning, Navi MIA. I mean,
Yes.
was it pretty before even the passport issue? Was it pretty abundant? Was it pretty apparent then that something was going very wrong by the time the first game began at 11:30? Or maybe
Yes.
I'm like repeating myself, but maybe what I'm asking for, I'm like fishing for a new story later around that same day, but later in the night.
Yeah, well, let's just go on with the PC stuff.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Sasha managed to get PCs in the end. Don't ask me how he did it, but it's really hard. Slovenia is not the capital of IT technology, so you have to get good gaming rigs, and it's really hard to get them. And they will not be in a small city like Portoros, that's for sure. So he managed to get PCs, and they didn't have the right graphics cards, so he got graphics cards on top of that, and they were all brought in, and they assembled them, and then they realized, yeah, I mean, they have stock power supply units, where just a stock thing that was inside the case, and they wouldn't be able to handle the graphics cards, so they brought in new PSUs as well. So that took a lot of time to just assemble the PCs the way that they had to, because they did it step by step, basically figuring out a problem, then finding another problem, and then getting into another problem. So that delayed it from 4 to 6, and then it was 7, and they set everything up. And I think then there was something else coming up. I don't even know what the problem was that we started that late, but there was also a discussion coming up already about how do we go on with this tournament? Are we going to have every game in the first round of the upper bracket be best of ones, for example? Different people made different systems to get the schedule back to normal. So
were the monitors actually like 120 hertz, 144 hertz?
I think they were supposed to, but I'm not entirely sure if they were able to handle it in the end. That's something that you have to ask the players again.
Because that's something that's very important in modern CSGO, but it's something people didn't talk about, so it's an interesting thing that I would like to find out.
Yeah, actually I have to ask somebody.
Yeah.
We can do that later on. I will put it in the description of the YouTube video just to keep you guys updated.
Yeah. Tell me, well, and then, okay, King Gwyn Efrag finished, and I'm sure that you guys were like, it's way too late. So Tell me about just the second day, your impressions, because the second day, if I remember correctly, was before the police incident, right? It was still.
Yeah, I was still trying to get the tournament underway or through, just get over with it. Just get it over with. No.
Is there anything that stands out to you from that second day?
Yeah. The thing was, or was it actually the third day? No, I think it was the second day. That's the miscommunication thing was, at the end of the first day, we didn't know when we had to show up for the next games, in the morning, because we didn't know if, for example, Navi against MIA will be streamed, or will we play it off stream in the very morning, then start the stream at maybe 11 or something like that. So we asked, but seemingly we asked the wrong person. He wasn't updated yet. He gave us the information it is going to be 9. So we prepared to get up at 9. We were awake until 4, I believe, because we had to get food as well and stuff like that. So we didn't leave the venue and then went to bed. We had to get food and get back to the hotel again, which was in walking distance. So that was really cool. But it wasn't entirely perfect for us, because you have to focus as a caster. You're not only talking, but you're talking about important stuff. You have to get the right expressions. Especially for me, it's hard because it's not my first language. And also Toby had to get in the mood for CSGO. It's not his natural habitat. So we had like 4 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep maybe. Yeah, well, I think we had around 5 hours in total.
Yeah, but luckily your first games in the morning were not that challenging, let's say. Or is that harder actually? Because it's versus
it's
like
harder.
MIA. Really? Because
Yeah.
they got just smashed, if I remember.
Yeah, we didn't stream Navi against MIA in the end.
Oh, I didn't know. I was sleeping.
Yeah, that thing was the thing with the 9 o'clock. Oh, I showed up at 9 o'clock to check in, and the HLTV org guys were there. So Nicola, Brucho, and Lucas were sitting there already. They got told that it's 9 as well. So everybody except us knew that it was 11, that the stream will start. And we didn't know because we asked the wrong person. And he didn't know at the time when he answered the question. So it was just huge miscommunication. I went back to the hotel then, told Toby that we still have another 2 hours to sleep. He used the time to handle some work stuff, and I just fell asleep just straight away. He was sitting next to me on his laptop typing and stuff. I didn't even realize how long he was sitting there. And in the meantime, Navi took on MIA at 10, something around that. It was a quick matchup. I don't think that we streamed that. Or did we stream that?
Yeah, maybe you guys brought some Slovenian guy on, and he just tried to extricate himself.
No, I don't remember the names of the Slovenian team. The MIA.
Oh, but not a team. I was just like, maybe they just brought some random guy to cast it, and you guys were just chilling in your room.
I know, I don't think so, because the production showed up as well to start the stream at 11. So we streamed the second game, which was
CSGO Saloon VP.
Yeah, that's what we streamed, and everything was rather smoothly going ahead. Then at one point the graphics card overheated because they had 2 screens attached to it. One for the player and one to show what the player is doing for the audience. Sadly for the tournament organizers, there was almost no audience in the first place.
The whole event?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It was a little bit sad. They have prepared a few chairs, but it was mainly other teams sitting there and other production people or people taking a rest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the second screens weren't really useful, and they made one of the graphics cards overheat. So they just disconnected the second screens to avoid that problem from happening again. but it's just things that you could think of, but you don't actually account for it, you know? A graphics card can overheat any given point in time. You just have to have the fan randomly stuttering, or the fan doesn't work anymore, and suddenly you have an overheating graphics card. The thing was, though, they didn't have a replacement PC. So they tried to figure something out. And they had warm-up PCs that weren't as good as the stage PCs. So in the end, they tried to repair the graphics card and stuff like that, but they ended up exchanging the PC for one of the off-stage PCs. One of the players in the teams had a worse PC compared to all the other teams and players.
That's pretty important because that could actually affect performance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially when you push through a smoke or something.
Yeah. Do you know that was after VP CS:GO Saloon? So that was like for the Titan Mouse Sports game?
Yeah, it was during the Virtus Pro Saloon, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because I talked to the manager of Mousesports, and he jokingly said, okay, so we're going to use Virtus Pro's side of the stage.
And that replacement PC was there until the last game?
I think so. I don't know if they exchanged it. That's
Oh, wow.
something that I then didn't get updated on, because it was one of the minor problems that we had in the end. The thing, though, was that due to the graphics card overheating, it made the game look very weird. And there was actually the suspicion of somebody messing with the game with a different program. But they
what does
figured
that
out that
mean?
it...
Oh, it's like, I know what you're talking about. It's
Yeah.
like sometimes was the game like black and white kind of?
No, it was more like you were sliding instead of walking, and weapons were floating. So it was really suspicious, really weird. And they investigated that together with HLTV as well. They just wanted to be really sure that nobody installed anything or something like that. You know, yeah, that was one of the focus. That's why they also took quite long to figure that out. Because they were, you know, I'm an IT guy myself. If I see a problem, but somebody tells me, I think it's this, then I will kind of get sidetracked and focus on the one thing instead of approaching the problem like I would originally approach it by just troubleshooting it. I think there was already a road to the solution, but you take the wrong road. And that's kind of what happened with the PCs. They were focused on one problem, but they didn't realize that it was actually the graphics card just messing up.
I just thought about it being a good time to mention the food, because day 3 has no space for that. So what was the food actually like? Because we all found out that next... Okay, maybe it was some German humor. Maybe you can elucidate me on this. But he just thought it'd be funny to like Google a picture of crappy food.
It was definitely a joke.
Yeah, but people didn't think so.
I know, but people also believe everything that gets posted on different forums.
Yeah, because it's hard to gauge for sarcasm on the internet. I mean, it depends.
I know. Sarcasm is one of the things that breaks and makes the internet, in my opinion. But yeah, it's also hard because us two, we are kind of close to everything, so we can get the information firsthand if we really want to get it. But for the spectators, for the viewers, they have to trust the things that players post and the things that players say on Twitter or on stream in their vlogs and stuff like that. And if players get miscommunicated with, there is miscommunication with the whole scene. Because a player, if he gets told the PCs got stolen by a thief and one of our guys got killed, he will tweet that because it's horrible news, and everybody will see the player tweeted that, so they will believe it because it's a trustworthy source. But what if the player talked to somebody that's English isn't that bad and he didn't mean killed but got lost, or it didn't get stolen but he got lost or something?
Well,
Or
that situation actually happened at Gaming Paradise. I don't know if you read Virtus Pro's Russian statement
yeah,
on the event, but they said that the total amount the guy owed for the accommodation was 70,000 euros. But what they misheard, because I guess if you're Russian, 70 and 17 kind of sounds similar, like 70,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So it was 17,000 euros apparently. At least that's what I've been told.
Yeah, and 70 would be way too much because the rooms, they were big and compared to the other hotels around that area, they were rather expensive. But 70,000 would be, I don't know, the number would be way too high.
Oh,
Am
by
I?
the way, Antidote 121S ESLW, what happened on train? We heard a really loud bang on stream, and then Toby grabbed your mic and said, "Hey." Was that when you almost died?
Yeah, that was yeah, we
Maybe
had some, yeah.
maybe tell your stream, because I have to go to the bathroom again. I've been chugging water like crazy.
I mean, the thing was that we had a mute button on our transmitters. We had wireless I mean, we had those Sennheisers that I wear as well, but with a microphone. You saw that on stream. And we had the transmitter attached to our chair. And when I tried to mute myself because I had to cough, the mute button made a really, really cracking sound. It was almost like the speakers blew up, also in my own ears. And after that, I was coughing my lungs out for a second because I didn't swallow correctly. Kind of sounds weird, but you know what I mean. And yeah, Toby just took over. For me, I was coughing for almost 1 minute. I had tears in my eyes. The people that were sitting there, actually, there were people sitting at the chairs at the moment. They were looking at me like, oh my God, is he dying right now? Do we have to call an ambulance? I try to smile at them so they know that it's just a minor issue, but I have something stuck in my throat. And in the end, I had to get an audio guy back because my mute button broke.
All right,
So
I'm alive.
yeah, that's what I said as well.
No, I got
Yeah.
kidnapped by Slovenian gangsters.
Oh, and you lost your PC.
Yeah. No,
No,
my PC just had nothing in it.
nothing, just a case. It would be
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, no, I wish. Actually, well, anyways, I almost got sidetracked again, which always happens.
Yeah.
So day 2. Well,
Wait a second.
no,
Wait a
yeah,
second.
you didn't really talk about the food.
Yeah,
Like,
I have to finish the story about the mute button first. So my mute button broke, and I couldn't mute myself anymore through the last day. And the other thing that was breaking down was the transmitter that was attached to the chair. It fell off and unplugged itself due to its own weight. So that was suddenly you're muted because your headset unplugged itself, so to speak. That was the other issue. But there was minor things, they happen sometimes. So about the food thing, I can't complain about the food. They had a small kind of sandwich and pastry thing right next to the exit to the venue. And the venue was a huge hangar, by the way. I will post pictures on my Twitter and my Facebook later on. And they had pizza as well. And they also had a deal with a restaurant. They served 3 different meals a day with a opener, a main course, and a dessert. And I ate once over there at the first day when we still had time because of the delays. And I couldn't complain about the food myself. But, you know, the fish was a little bit dry. Stuff like that. I think it was next just being funny in a German way and people getting it in the wrong tube.
oh, 1 second, I'm actually being called by someone.
And the other question that Stitch asked before was the second day went on not too badly, in my opinion. So apart from the graphics card problem.
This is what happens when you live in a Polish household. There's always things coming up.
It's what's it called?
No, dude, it was
Full House. The Full
yeah,
House.
no, it was a call to Zupa. It was like, you need to come and eat some soup. And I said, all right, when I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, that's parents, right?
Yeah.
My mother was the same all the time. So glad I moved out. But still miss her. Shout out to my mom. So you wanted to know how the second day went on, right?
Well,
yeah, I think so.
It just seemed like a main concern on the second day was just the delays. We obviously hadn't entered the gaming paradise in shambles, to quote HLTV era.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering sort of like how you and Toby specifically took it, because we know how the players took it, but how you and Toby were taking that second day. Did you guys take it in stride? I assume you still had a good mood. You were just maybe a little impatient.
Oh, well, Toby has a lot of experience. He's been to Malaysia and all that, you know, he's been all over the world casting all different sorts of tournaments organized by all different sorts of people. I think it was still one of his more tiring experiences. But he once said, yeah, I'm still fine, you know. I mean, we were sitting at the desk, we had internet, we had our laptops with us, we had the game as well. I could play some warm-up as well. We were talking a lot to each other about casting and theory, and we work both of us work for Freaks for You, so we talked a lot about that as well, and about the future. So our mood was, yeah, our patience got tested, but we were patient enough, and you know, we didn't have to cope with the problems directly, except for those two things that I mentioned, with the mute button being broke and the things just falling off of our chair and suddenly making a noise, or the one time that it unplugged itself. But that got solved, and the people really took care of us as well. They focused on our well-being. They also brought us food, for example, one point when we asked. We didn't want to be the kind of, yeah, how can you bring me this and that? Oh, I kind of feel like I need this and that. Can you bring me that? So we got a lot of stuff ourselves, and we also gave a lot of input. So the delays kept on occurring because of
Accruing. Oh, occurring. But also when things stack up on top of each other, they accrue.
Oh, just learning new words. Thank you.
Oh, that's okay.
They were occurring and accruing.
Yeah. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, so proud. No, they just kept piling up. Just to use another expression to say the same, and buttering butter. Because
muscle on there. No, yeah.
No, because it was kind of, everything was going fine then when the graphics card thing was sorted out, the PC got exchanged. There was a disadvantage for one team, that is more than obvious, but at least we were able to play. Then there was a TeamSpeak problem. You know, TeamSpeak problems occur on every single event. I've never been to any event without any TeamSpeak problems. So the mic was sounding fishy. They tried to sort it out, and they just couldn't find the issue at first. So it took 30 minutes or something to sort out that issue. Then the player has to warm up still, and that dragged on and delayed the next game again. Then the other team had TeamSpeak issues or something like that, and it went on like this. So the small problems that every tournament has came up, as well as the big problems that occurred because of miscommunication, misorganization, or people just not being trustworthy, and Sasha and also gaming.rs relying on those people to support them. And then suddenly, you know, somebody says, I'm sorry, I can't make it. And then you're standing there, no equipment or something like that. I have to give gaming.rs, shout out though.
I was about to ask you about them. I mean, yeah. But you're saying they were also relying on the people behind Sasha, like the providers? But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's
yeah, give
it's
them a
kind of
shout.
a hierarchy, you know.
Okay.
Sasha is the guy on top. He relies on somebody to support the PCs, and gaming.rs relies on the PCs to get the production going in the first
Yeah.
place. Because if there are no PCs, there's no game. They can't stream.
So
And
how were they, by the way? Just gaming RS.
um they were all stressed, and compared to Sasha, you could tell from a mile away that they were all doing their very best and trying to keep it together and trying to put up a show as well. Some things slipped, some minor things. At one point, you know, Petza had to take care of something else. That was really unfortunate timing. We were on the camera, but we didn't know, or something like that. You know, those minor things that happen when you have bigger problems to work out.
Yeah.
And apart from that, they were all really friendly. They almost always ask me if I want something, you know, can we grab a beer for you or something like that. They try to make it as good as an experience as possible in the circumstances.
Yeah. Were they pretty experienced in terms of like, did you have a good tournament admin? Because I know from Win Outland that we had like there was a difference between now that I saw as a player more the workings of admins that you need different types of admins. I mean, was everyone there pretty
Uh,
competent at their job aside from the troubles, like running the server logs,
um,
hardware,
you would
like.
have to ask Nicola about the server logs.
Mm.
But I didn't hear anything about any highly incompetent admins or something like that.
Because that's like the worst when you have logistical issues and then you also have administrative,
Yeah.
issues that come down to admins and things like that. So maybe that's a good thing that you guys survived that.
I mean, Petza is or started working for eFrag ages ago, so he knows the ropes. I think that was handled compared to everything else very well.
Yeah.
But that's me, just a caster. I'm saying that I don't know how the players experience the admins behaving, but as far as I can judge, they were given the time to warm up. Server was running. There were no lags on the server as far as I could see, and no server issues apart from one time I think there was a pause or something, and but that was just a pause because of the TeamSpeak problems, I guess.
Yeah. Well, with that said, let's finally get on to the important stuff, which is, waking up. At least, I mean, I woke up to some madness. I don't know if you woke up right away to some madness. You should probably just straight up tell it how it is or how you experienced it. Like, did you see a confrontation between the police and Sasha?
No,
Oh,
and that
okay.
is something that we didn't see. The thing is though, yeah, everyone knew already that it's going to be hard to get this tournament finished. At first, the plan was to have best of 3 brackets on the upper bracket. The lower bracket was best of 1, and the story was also Mousesports and CS:GO Saloon played at 3 a.m. in the morning on the offstage PCs. They tried to do that. The thing was though that the offstage PCs had some other issue. One of them couldn't authenticate on VAC, so they couldn't use them, and they had to wait for the last game of the upper bracket to finish so they could start their game at 3 or 3:30 a.m. So we had issues with the schedule. That was more than obvious. So we tried to not stream every single game and have the games be played as early as possible while trying to keep an eye out for the players. And then the info arrived that some costs haven't been covered. So the teams instantly got into that position of, okay, wait a second, we have to clear that first. They were ready. I think it was when Navi was supposed to play against Mouse or Virtus.
Actually, I closed that
Wait,
coincidentally.
I'm still on it. Doesn't matter. Let's call it the game that was supposed to be played.
Navi was supposed to play Mouse, yeah, in the best one.
Yeah, they were ready to play, and then this news arrived. So they instantly stopped getting ready or anything. You know, they actually C's already started packing his stuff, and
C's was the one who also called it Vodka Paradise.
yeah, I think he had a good time. He also celebrated birthday on
the
event. Yeah. So I was one of the first guys to congratulate him in person. So yeah, that's just it. The thing was that those things had to be sorted out at first. Then the hotel claimed that the costs haven't been covered. All sorts of stuff came up. Some people came in and tried to take production equipment that was actually brought in by gaming.rs, just to be sure that their costs will be covered and that nobody disappears, you know? It would have been a solution.
Were these guys like thugs though? Like were they like big, tough, scary looking guys? Because that's what
it was more like the stuff was gone when I arrived already. I didn't even see it being taken, but I was like, wait, didn't that table look different yesterday? And they were like, yeah, they took the stuff because they thought it was Sasha's equipment to make sure that he pays, but it was our equipment. So that was quite unfortunate. Then they tried to keep the players' passports. That was the hotel's fault. That was not Sasha's fault. Sasha's fault was to not have paid the hotel.
Yeah.
Then the police handled that kind of outside. They handled it with the hotel.
Do you think they handled it with like, some dodgy stuff, like a bribe, or do you
think they shot at least 3 people?
This isn't GTA
No.
Portoros.
No, those things would be I don't know if there was anything with bribes or anything. You know, I was staying at the venue the whole day. I barely got out because we never knew if the game is going to start in a matter of 15 minutes. You know, it might have been the case that suddenly all problems are solved. Sasha just turned up with $500,000 and we can go on. So Toby and I had to stay around closely. We couldn't take a deeper look at the whole hotel situation. But I think it got solved because hotels are not allowed to keep your passport, and Sasha then probably promised something or came up with a solution to solve the money problem. Also, the hotel was booked by Sasha and not by anyone else. So the only thing they could have done is maybe hold him, but not the players, because the players just stay in the hotel rooms. They are not responsible for anything else.
Yeah, that sounds like the hotel's mistake, actually.
Yeah, definitely was a little overreacted by them. But as the Mousesports manager already said, he had the impression that we were kind of treated as those are scrubs. They are here because somebody paid a lot of money for them to be here, but in real life they wouldn't be able to afford this. So that is I think that was the hotel's position towards the players.
Okay, so like kind of like a position of older people, like discriminatory maybe. Like, oh, these nerds, they probably aren't that important. Like we can just muscle them into paying us money or something like that.
Yeah, it was badly handled by the hotel.
Yeah. Why did Toby tweet that he was getting a security detail from the gaming.rs guys?
The thing was that Sasha disappeared for 2 hours or something. And at that point, nobody knew what will happen. We thought it would be another Indian gaming carnival kind of tournament where the organizer just disappears and leaves everything behind, just gets himself into safety to some other country, takes a plane, and disappears. That was actually what I thought at one point. So nobody was sure what is happening. We had no information about that. We just knew that stuff wasn't paid. And the players and teams were discussing the possibility to just end this tournament, split the prize money if there will be any prize money, and just end everything. Just have a good time with the last day at the venue. You know, we still had the hotel room, so we could have just hung out at the pool or go to the seaside, which was basically 10 meters away from the venue. So that was really beautiful. It was really a paradise, apart from the problems. It's kind of like the beach. You have the beach, it's really cool, but then there are problems behind the scenes.
No, dude, it's like taking acid at the beach. It's all good and gravy, and then suddenly you're in a nightmare.
Yeah, it could turn out to be like that.
Yeah. Is there any unsung hero from day 3? Someone who hasn't been mentioned? Maybe a manager, a player.
Toby and I.
Okay.
No, just kidding. It's, in my opinion, it's Petza. Because
gaming.rs guy.
Yeah, and also I don't know his name. There's another gaming resorts guy. He's a really big guy, and he's a really cool guy as well. I have to say, he communicated a lot with us, and he communicated in the way that Sasha was supposed to communicate with us. So he apologized. He was concerned. He told us what is going to happen, how they try to solve things, and stuff like that. Sasha was just too stressed out, I believe. He just couldn't even handle himself anymore, I think. That is also why Makelele had the impression that he had some problems, personal problems. But I actually had a ride home back to the airport with friends of Sasha, together with Toby, and they were really humble guys, and they tried to explain to us how Sasha and why Sasha behaved the way he did. Because it's his way to handle the stress. It's not the best way to handle it, and it's obviously not PR related. It's the worst way to handle it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has to work on that if he is ever going to host another tournament, if he has any partners left.
Yeah, even if he works on it, he is a very high hill to climb, possibly the highest in esports, if he wants to gain respect.
And I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah,
it's
honestly.
A huge damage for the whole company as well, but he brought it upon himself by not being experienced and starting with a tournament as big as this. Yeah. He could have started with a 10K tournament for only Balkan teams or whatever. Just learn the ropes slowly but surely.
Yeah. Someone in your chat asks why the 3 Titan players were sick, which I was going to get to, but obviously since the food wasn't bad, as we now know, I'm guessing they just came down with some sort of illness just unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of the Mousesports players have been sick as well, but it wasn't related to the tournament. It was just some cold that was spread before they even came to the venue. The same kind of goes for the Titan players as well. Smith lost his luggage. He had some stuff in there, and that's why he was feeling bad. I think Niak and Existence caught a cold as well. So that was just health issues in general, stuff that can come up in any given time, in any given tournament, or even if you're not at a tournament.
Well, I mean, maybe I've been asking kind of general questions, but maybe this is like a hard-hitting question that you might not be able to answer. With that being the case, though, it seems like a lot of things got thrown into sort of a pot of misinformation. Shouldn't someone have stepped up and kind of clarified? You know, like, hey, the food's okay. The Titan players aren't going to die. You know, there's no need to, like, Toby needs security, but it's like not as bad as you think. You know, don't you feel like, because people were started freaking out on the internet. I mean, I remember waking up thinking that it was going to go down in some sort of mafia-like scenario where the players would get taken hostage. Or I didn't think
Yeah.
that, but it was starting to like border on that. Like someone should have probably stepped up and said like, "Hey, it's not as bad as you think," or clarified at least.
Yeah, I kind of try to do that, but I mean, my impact on Twitter is like this, and
Yeah.
I gained a lot of followers by reporting what is going on. But I couldn't know everything. There was no. I asked the Titan players if they are sick, but that's stuff. They told me specifically what is going wrong. But that's stuff that you don't want to tweet out. Oh, player X has this and that health issue. Blah blah blah. So there is a lot of stuff that also was kept between the people that cleared it out.
Yeah.
Also,
As makes sense. But then again, I think.
by the way, sorry,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Smith retrieved his luggage after that. So he's now at Dubai with all of his stuff. Yeah, just go on.
No, I was just gonna make like a general comment about all events, sort of walking that line between PR and not overblowing things. But that's
NDA and PR.
yeah, exactly. Who do you think actually had the worst trip to Dubai in the end? Like who had the least sleep and the worst schedule of the three teams going out of the Final Four?
Of the three teams in the Final Four,
Well, because the Final Four was
yeah,
what?
Kinguin, Navi, Titan, and Virtus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Titan had the worst. Because of the sickness issues, they didn't have their luggage. I don't know if they had a whirlpool. And on the other side, Kinguin had to wait the longest, I think, of all teams. But they kept it together quite nicely, in my opinion. So Kinguin tried to just have a little fun and relax a little.
That's
Same
good.
goes for Navi. Their players were quite relaxed as well. But they had Starix to handle all the stressful things.
Yeah.
Virtus Pro was kind of agitated with the situation because they have so much experience and they knew that if they don't act now, they don't change it now, they could face bigger problems in the future.
Yeah. And they probably were also agitated because they didn't probably place as well as they wanted to.
Maybe yes, yeah, maybe a yes. Or
Yeah.
it just went, sometimes you don't know. Was it the hen or the egg?
The what?
The hen or the egg?
Oh, the hen or the egg. I heard the hen
Yeah.
or the yen. I was like, yin yang? No.
Yeah, the yin yang or the jinshitsu.
Yeah. um, okay. I don't know if you can answer this question, but this is the time for the hard-hitting questions. Do you think the prize money is going to get paid out?
Considering what I saw, heard, and what I think, yes, I hope so. There was
Well,
a
I hope it's not
contract.
the same as. Oh yeah, well yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, there was a contract signed between the teams and Sasha, and there's a big clause that if he misses the payment, there will be big consequences.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely one way to tie someone. I mean, unless he disappears off the face of the
And
earth.
yeah, that's why I said probably it will be paid, or at least he will face consequences for not paying. So either way, there will be justice for all.
uh, were you knowingly citing the Pledge of Allegiance there?
What the?
Oh, like in the U.S., kids have to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Or I think, is it also just part of like a saying? Well, anyways, at the end, it's like under God and justice for all. That's how it ends.
No, I was referring to Metallica.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I see that now. I Googled it. But yeah, they're referring to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, they are, but
Yeah.
I am referring to Metallica. So in a way, I am referring to the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking, because I think you explained your side pretty well. I mean, is there anything that you wanted to specifically say? I was just gonna ask you, like, did you regret doing it? I'm sure you
No.
didn't, because I know you, because I know what kind of person you are, and you could be put in a terrible situation and make it great. But yeah, like, how do you think it was a very positive thing for you, a learning experience at the very least?
Yeah, learning experience for sure, because you only grow with those situations. And in the first place, just taking the contract, going there, no, maybe not the salary that I would have hoped for. So that was the first thing, but I'm not doing it for the money. You all know that I'm in the game for the passion, and you know it yourself as well. Putting in 20 hours of work a day, it's no problem for us.
Yeah.
So I would do it again, even if there's a second edition, just because I
Oh,
would be curious to see. I know nobody would be insane enough to go there again, but I would do it. I
game
think.
Gaming Paradise 2016, casted by Raheem Babam and Lerpus the Salt King, featuring a bunch of German teams. No, featuring players with VAC bands. Kaylee.
Oh,
So
that would be sick. That would be such a fun tournament to cast, actually.
that tournament would get a lot of viewers.
Yeah, it would be viral for sure.
The
But
meme tournament. Oh,
on a
go ahead.
different account though, um, I knew I would be paired with Toby. I knew that he works for the same company that I do for, so I knew we can talk about a lot. I can learn a lot. So it didn't really matter for me. Copenhagen Wolves and Hellraisers dropping out just shortly before the tournament. It didn't really impact me. I was like, would have been cool to have them around as well, because it would have been way more interesting. But no offense to MIA and CSGO Saloon, by the way, but they were last second replacements, and yeah, their chances were really slim. But I knew that either way, I'm going to be repaid in experience and in knowledge for whatever problems we will go through. So I actually enjoyed it in a way.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, not to talk about us, but just from I remember from our discussion in Montreal that we're the kind of people where as long as we're just in a new scenario and weird things are being thrown at us and we're meeting new people or experiencing new
Yeah,
things, then we're never gonna fully be miserable, I suppose.
yeah. I mean, we had at the last day we had 3 hours of sleep. No, actually we had more. We had 6 hours of sleep actually, but then we had to cast until 3 a.m. in the morning, and we were there for the whole day without any rest or whatsoever. You're always on top level of your heart rate. You have to be ready any second because the players are getting ready and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a high stress situation for your body, but you have to just put your mind to it and just pull through. And the quality of the cast was going down and down. I think that Toby and I both fell back into kind of a let's stay afloat position to just do what is mandatory to provide a good cast at least. We could have done way better if we had more time and if the whole circumstances would have been better, in my opinion. But given everything that went wrong, we handled it quite nicely, I think, and also the production kept it together as far as I can judge. And also big props to the players, because I mentioned that Sasha disappeared and all that, and we didn't know what is going on with the equipment being taken, or part of the equipment being taken from the production, and the players fearing being scared for the money, or if they would actually be able to leave the country again, or if their organizations have to come up for the hotel or whatever legal consequences there could have been. They stayed there. They didn't bail. They talked to the production. They tried to figure something out. They actually then talked to each other to sign that contract thing that in the end happened. And when Sasha came back, it was solved, and the teams played on. And they also talked to each other about the possibility of sharing the prize money, for example, of sharing it and then throwing a party kind of style, just trying to end this all on a good note. In the end, they came to the agreement to play the games for the fans. It wasn't about the money anymore, because I don't think that the teams expect the money to come to them.
So
but
they don't expect it. I thought you said that
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Even though there was that contract signed, I still think that they highly doubt that it will arrive.
Understood. Yeah.
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 But at least they have a piece of paper. We also took a video of him signing the paper and stuff like that. So there is a lot of proof that this certain person on planet Earth owes different other persons a lot of money. And either way, there will be justice, as I said before.
Justice for all.
And the players actually pulled through and provided a good show with 2 overtimes in the last few matches. I mean, what is going on, Nobody expected that. I mean, I thought, okay, now they are behind. They might just lose out because they can't be bothered to put in the effort. But suddenly there was like, and they realized, no, I want to win. And then they put their very best effort into the games again, despite the late hours.
I wrote that in my finals post on HLTV as well, that the games, ironically, were very closely contested. You had teams at all about the same level of play. Navi VP on Mirage going to overtime. Titan, Navi going to overtime. It was Titan Navi, right? On Overpass, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, just very impressive stuff. I mean, even
double overtime, actually.
Yeah, double overtime. Yeah, so it's good to see the players really. It's a good PR opportunity for the players, no matter what.
And for the game, and for the whole scene. Apart from,
well, it's going to be a meme. First of all, it'll always be something people remember because of how bad it was.
Yeah, but then they have to remember that the players just did everything they could to provide the scene with at least some things to enjoy.
Yeah. So I don't have any more questions for you, but I saw a question in your chat. Is it true that Toby's only able to stream on MLG due to a contract? Do you know anything about that? I mean, that doesn't seem like anything secret.
Wait, Toby streamed on MLG?
Or I don't know if stream, but like be featured. Wait, that must be a troll question. He was on the international on Twitch.
Yeah. I mean, he's everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I can't say anything about that, but just the question if Toby can stream on MLG a day after he came home from an event that was covered by MLG. That's the answer already.
Oh.
At least if I understood the question correctly.
Oh no, someone read it on Reddit somewhere.
Okay. I will probably link the video on Reddit. I risk the video being taken down from Reddit, but Reddit is a pile of people talking about stuff that they mostly have no idea about and just coming up with weird allegations.
Ooh, shots fired. It's more like
not
the
all,
internet,
not all. Just maybe ignore the comment section in Reddit.
For the content. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Misinformation has no check upon it, so it can spread very fast, and we've seen it happen time and time again. So it's just you gotta, if you ever want the full story, you gotta kind of research and check out back scenes like this interview.
Read hltv.org.
Or like
and this interview. Yeah, link it to your friends, link it to everyone, because maybe I could enlighten, or we too were able to enlighten some of the backstories that have been told but differently been told, and maybe not been told at all. So
yeah, I learned something new for sure. But 4chan better than Reddit. Yeah, maybe once upon a time. Yeah, that's it. That's it for me, if you don't mind, because I think I'm actually I have to roll out to do some other things.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for co-casting in the first place, and also thanks for the interview.
Yeah, no worries. Hopefully I get to co-cast again. I think it's fun. I like to do the analysis role, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I had fun as well, so we can
Yeah.
definitely work something out in the future.
Yeah. All right, man. If you want to close, I leave the floor to you.
Yeah, so I thank everyone for the support that I got on Twitter. I hope the haters on HLTV will figure out how to positively criticize somebody so you can improve upon the criticism. But other than that, I will still grow, and that was one of the experience that you grow upon. Gaming Paradise 2015 was quite interesting. That's the least that I can say about it. So big props to gaming.rs and to Sasha. I hope that you will figure out a way to clean that mess up that you got yourself into or something like that. Yo. So thank you guys. Thank you, Stitch. On Twitch.
Stitch on Twitch.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. I actually am on Twitch, except I stream really weird things. So please don't
I will
visit my
link
channel.
everything. I will link everything in the description.
No,
So,
usually it's just surfing in CS:GO, which isn't that
with
fun
the
to
sick
watch.
music that we listen to as well.
Yeah, the sick music.
So I will definitely link that in the description.
Sure.
Yeah, so I wish all of you a good night, and to you, good rest evening.
Yeah, good night, chat, and thanks, Daniel.